So you want to take your FPV footage from looking like this to something like this, then stick around and I'll show you how. No, this isn't the finished studio that I showed you last week. That's still underway, so this is more of a temporary situation at the minute. Okay, as promised, first video of the week. Hopefully I can get them out weekly for you. Today I'm going to do a quick tutorial on, well, primarily FPV footage, but GoPro users can use this as well. What I wanted to talk about was a program that I use to stabilize my GoPro footage. So if you've got maybe a drone that's similar to this, well, this is the ProTech 25 pusher style cine whoop. It's awesome. I've had like zero issues with it. So if you know anything about FPV drones, it's really important if you want to use the footage afterwards for it to be buttery smooth. And unfortunately, even with the best hyper smooth features in place, sometimes that doesn't really work out. So we have to reach for programs on our computers or laptops to try and stabilize the footage. Now, the most popular one would be GoPro's Real Steady. I've actually got that and I've used it before, and I've got to say it's awesome. However, it's not free. I think it costs, well, when I got it was $99. So if money's no object, go ahead and grab Real Steady and use that. So what I use is a program called Gyroflow. Gyroflow now, as far as I'm aware, is still free. You can download it on Windows, Mac, probably Linux. It's super easy to use, straightforward, and up to now, it's not really failed me. Probably like 95% of the time, it works. So let's just go through the steps of where to find it, how to use it, and how to make that FPV footage look sweet. First thing you're gonna need is your, there we are, we in focus. So your SD card from the GoPro, and then you're gonna need your laptop. So just jumping over to the laptop now. It doesn't matter whether you're on Windows or Mac, this program will work for everything. As you can see down here, I've already got Gyroflow installed, but if you did wanna see where you get it from, you can just head over to Google, Gyroflow, download. I mean, you can type what you like, but here we are. So Gyroflow version 1.3 is out, so it will always show you the latest and greatest first. So click on this. So it takes you to the Gyroflow website. Hit download. Now it's already showing me, you know, download for Mac OS. So if you're on a Windows PC, I'm sure, Windows laptop, I'm sure it will show you the equivalent version. So now we just patiently wait for this download to finish. Obviously, if you've done all this already and you're not interested to see how things are installed, then go ahead and skip forward. Anyway, so that's the program there. Obviously you would follow the relevant steps now to install this, but for the sake of this tutorial, it's installed, it's ready to go. So we open the program. Okay, here we go. So let me just enlarge this so we're not distracted by anything else. So this is basically the workspace. This is what it looks like. What I would do, before you get too excited and ahead of yourself and throw a video file in here, you're gonna get hit with a message that says the lens profile doesn't match or lens profile not found. Now, basically what you need to do in order to give Gyroflow an idea of what it should be looking at and what it should be working with, you need to select a lens profile from this option here, okay? For example, obviously you can type whatever you like, depending on what camera you've used. It's got support for all types of cameras. For my example, I've got a GoPro Hero 8. Now, obviously, it instantly shows you all the options and formats here. Now what we're looking for is whatever settings you use for the GoPro essentially. So for me, I shot in 16:9, so I'm going to look down the 16:9 menu here. I shot in wide and I shot in no-EIS. Now in order for this software to work as efficiently as possible, and I think in Real Steady it won't work at all if you've got it enabled, you can't have any stabilization methods switched on in the GoPro. So you've got to remember when you're going to record your footage or your flight, or whether it's attached to a bike helmet or whatever, that your stabilization or hypersmooth is switched off. Otherwise it's not worth using Gyroflow, put it that way. So obviously down here we want GoPro Hero 8 black, 16:9 wide, no. So that's the profile I want to use. Now these are all created by the guys who made this program, and these, I'm guessing these are presets that the application uses to affect what kind of algorithm it uses to stabilize your footage. So we're going to click this. Okay, so now it says that's my lens profile loaded here, calibrated by Eddie. Thank you, Eddie. I use this one all the time. So drop video files here, so click this. Now, obviously go and find wherever you've plugged in your SD card or memory card. So mine's here, GoPro. So I've got a bunch of clips that I've recorded on the drone here. So let's take a clip, this one for example, hit open. Now, it's already done it. It's stabilized it, it's done. Okay, but you didn't see anything happen there. Depending on how good your computer is, how fast or slow it is, that process might take a little bit longer, but it's already done. Okay, just for comparison, I'm gonna hit this button here, which is toggle stabilization, if you can see that. That's turned off. Now you just saw the frame, the sort of ratio of the shot there just changed slightly. That's because obviously it's constantly cropping in and out to stabilize this footage. So if I get it to a point where it's actually in the air flying. So this is what the drone looks like without stabilization. So obviously that, you know, you wouldn't want to hand that to a client. Even if you were doing this for fun, that's not that fun to look at, is it? So it's super unstable, super rocky. So we'll go back to the beginning. Now I'll hit this button here, and that's going to quickly apply the stabilization that it already did automatically when I put the file in. And then we watch it again. So you can see it sort of zoom in here, takes off. And it's super smooth. As I say, this has not really failed me at this point. But all those little bumps and knocks and, you know, height adjustments and turning the drone around quickly and stuff, you can't see any sort of shake really. So it is super smooth, and there is a notable difference between this and hyper smooth. I think you can't get much smoother than this. For a free program, I think this is brilliant. And I don't think it will let you down, especially if you've spent a fortune already getting your drone in the air, buying your GoPro, getting your GoPro strips so they fit on your drone, getting loads of hours in practicing. The last thing you want to do is go spend another £100 or $99 on a program that you're not sure you're going to get any use out of. So this is definitely a good start, and I still use this daily. Ultimately, that's all you need to do. Now, there are some settings that you can change down here. These are all default settings at the minute. I very rarely change these things, if I'm honest. The only things I might change every now and then is the zoom-in speed. So dynamic zoom-in is what the program uses in order to not have like a full-time crop on your image. So it's basically going to zoom in and out as and when it needs to stabilize the worst part of the footage. So you can change the speed here if you wanted it to be a bit smoother. Again, you know, if I change the speed so it's a little bit slower, there's a little bit of thinking going on in the background, but is it noticeable? It's probably a bit better. It all depends on how rough your footage is at the time. So a little bit like your normal editing software. Say you find a part, because you don't want to render this entire clip unless you do. But say you like a certain part of the clip and you think, yeah, I'm going to use that and I'm going to post that on social media. I'm going to put that in my video. Much like Premiere Pro or DaVinci or anything like that, you can mark certain parts of this clip here to render just them parts. So you've got in and out points here and here. So say I want the clip to start from here, I can just mark that in. And then let's say, sometimes it doesn't play back very smooth if you do that. It's not great for scrubbing. But let's say, okay, I like this bit where it goes over the top of the net, and I like it when it drops down, and I like it when it swings around like this. Say that's the only part that's going in your video, then you can mark it out there. So now basically all you're looking at here now is this little piece. Now it's just a case of rendering. So you've got some options. So these are export settings here. Now I tend to use ProRes and proxy here with a 4K output, which is the same as the source file. But you can change it to, for argument's sake, let's do this now. So H.264, so it's that kind of file. So H.264, which is probably a similar kind of file that you'd put into an editor anyway. Output size is 4K. You can change these if you need to. So if you want it to be 1080 and you want it to be a short file, then you can go ahead and change that. Obviously you can use GPU encoding there, export the audio. In my case, I don't have any audio because I stripped the microphone off to make the GoPro lighter. So once you're happy with that, head down to the output path. Now it gives it a name. It gives it a name already, stabilized MP4. Now you might not want that. So hit these little three dots here. You'll get a similar window appear on Windows, but on Mac, you can change the name. So maybe we can change the name to net clip because it flies over the net. And then you just basically choosing a case of where you want to put it. So for argument's sake, we'll put it on the desktop. Yes, okay. I'm not going to put it in any of these folders, but I'm happy with where that is. So hit save. So now it's going to go to desktop, net clip. Happy with that. Hit export. And then you just wait for the magic to happen. Again, depending on the size of the file, depending on the state of your computer, this could either be quicker or it could be slower. But ultimately that is it. Okay, so once you're done there, it will tell you your rendering's completed, and then you can either open the file or you can open file location, do whatever you need to do, but let's just have a quick look. So there's the file complete, and this is now smooth, essentially. So there you have it, a nice, quick, cheap, easy way to stabilize your footage. That's the beauty of these things. Like, you can fly them indoors, you can fly them, you know, outdoors, but when they look smooth, they look really, really cool, and they can up your production value on anything you're working on in a matter of minutes. Or you can just have some fun with it and you want to chase the kids and the dogs with it. It also looks good when that's smooth as well. So thanks for watching. Hopefully you sat through the whole thing and I wasn't too boring. I am genuinely going to try and get another video out next week, so please give us a thumbs up and give us a subscribe. It helps my channel, it helps motivate me to keep doing it. So awesome, see you in the next one.